President Lyndon B. Johnson. Expanded
Just because the door's not closed doesn't mean I'm letting you in.
Reagan, enacted into law on August 17, 1988. So every day this month, we will be going through Hispanic Heritage Facts. So today I will ask you to look up more information regarding Hispanic Heritage Month. Thank you.
Okay, on my openings, all the dates have 12 as the month, but that's really just because I'm dumb, so I don't look at that. Oh wait, yeah, I have 12.
So what opening are we actually on aside from the fact it's not December?
9/16. Oh wait, number 7.
7. Which 7?
7.
Shut. That means we'll be taking them up on Thursday.
That's
So they'll be collected this week. Who's this walked out?
This one is 7.
Princess? Why? Oh, Princess!
Which one is this?
This is 7.
Okay.
You okay? Just need water? Oh, good. Alright, so Zyra and Jocelyn just came in late. Who else we missing? Who sits where Michaela's at?
What Elijah?
Lodge. Alright, he's probably not here. He's not normally late. And then behind Raylina would be Janai. He's not normally late either, but. Today's the 16th of September, 9, not 12.
Okay. I'm the molecular one. Oops. Me too.
All the students on late buses should come to the office to get bus passes. We'll verify your late attendance. Teachers, please excuse those students who come in your room with bus passes. Bus 59 is late this week.
Hey! Woohoo! Oh, you mean like one number? Oh, you like that. I thought you got like a letter after you're out there.
We actually did something right for once.
That's great.
I'm looking at yours.
Yeah.
No, I just saw yours.
The molecular thing. I'm gonna do it and make sure that I know what I'm doing. But I'm pretty sure I do. Is the test, is the quiz just gonna be on the finding molecular formula?
Miss Wall.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say, I thought you were like, shoulders and got there.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what I'm just
Are we done?
No.
What's the problem, people?
I don't have a degree of this. Yeah.
This is all you did Friday.
Okay, that was a long time ago. Oh my gosh, I keep closing my notebook when I don't need to, and it's a problem. These discs are so little. Let's see.
So for 3.38, would that round up to 3.5 or to round up to 3?
Uh-huh.
Chances are you haven't divided by the smallest number yet.
Oh, no.
What if you get the same like decimal for it? All the numbers rubbed off this calculator.
That probably means you've got the same number when you divide the smallest, you're gonna get
Greasy
subscript of one.
You know, like before you divide the small sum. Oh, wait.
I'm talking about when you divide by the smallest number, you're gonna get ones from them.
Oh, man. Oh, wait. If it's 1.00, we can round that to 1.
Correct.
So it's either 0 or close to 100. You have to. Oh, wait, you should get a whole number, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Want to work it? We've been working 10 minutes on a question here, people. All right, so if we look at what you have. All right, we have 40.6 grams of C, 5.1 grams of H. What was the last one? 54.2. 54.2 grams of oxygen. 12 grams, 1 mole, 1 mole, 1 gram, 1 mole, 16 grams. And remind me later when I collect calculators, I'm one short because Miss Thornhill borrowed one, so remind me not to yell like a fool. All right, so my smallest number is going to be, doesn't matter if I pick top or bottom, they're pretty much the same. That's gonna be 1. That's gonna be 1. I'm betting this is gonna be a half. Yep, 1.5. So when I write my formula, some other colors. I get C1H 1.501 multiplied by 2. So my empirical formula is C2H3O2. Are we good with that? All right, so we take the molar mass, which they gave us is 177. All right, so 177 divided by what we add up. Well, I have C2H3O2, so I need to add that up. So how many C's do I have?
2,
How many H's do I have?
3.
How many O's do I have? So times 12 times 1 times 2. All right, so it's going to be what? It's 12, 24, 3, 2 times 16 is 32. So 7, 2 is 9, 5, 59. All right, so where do I put the 59? On the bottom. So 177 divided by 59 is what? 3? All right, that means my formula was reduced by 3.
What if you didn't use whole numbers?
You mean you didn't use whole numbers?
Like,
It doesn't matter. You'll just get a decimal number here, but it'll still be somewhere in the ballpark of 59. What'd you get?
59.044, and then I divided it, and it wasn't a whole number, so I don't know, like, I got like, oh, I got it.
177 divided by 59.044.
Yeah.
And I got 2.9977. What's 2.9977 round to?
3, but I didn't know if I was supposed to get an exact whole number.
It's fine. Now, if you got 2.7, 3.2, that would concern me. 2.9977 is a whole number.
Okay.
If you get 3.011, 3.0 is 3. Okay, those are close enough. But if you get decimals of 0.1, 0.2, 0.5, 0.7, 0.8, that would be a problem.
But do you recommend using whole numbers for that?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Nope, that's fine. That's close enough. So 3 times your C2H3O2 is going to give you what? C6H9O6. So there's your molecular formula.
We're gonna have to name on the quiz.
Nope.
But what?
She asked me if you were going to have to name. Say like that, I wouldn't ask you a name because you don't know how to do organic compounds. Yes, ma'am. Possibly.
Okay. Why? What'd you tell us?
I told you Friday. I'm tired of telling you the same things over and over again.
But it's been 3 days.
Okay, dudes. All right, you need a periodic table and a calculator, writing utensil. There's plenty of space on the quiz.
No.
You're not naming compounds. We just said that. So all you need is a periodic table, pencil, and calculator.
How are you gonna milk it yourself?
Oh, you're ready to call out in lane.
Huh?
What is your ready to call out?
Oh, man. Those are so serious.
No, sense.
All right, so y'all appear to be ready over here and they're struggling. There's 5 questions. Show me your work. If you make a math error or something, maybe I can give you some partial credit. Speed Franco. Okay. Is it low on batteries? Right here. Don't change batteries out. Rather than you putting it back and us having to do it again. Yep. please. You need a periodic table and a calculator. Here Friday.
You want to laugh and you're going to sit today.
You have to end it tonight. What? Greg, will you please? Huh? Why not? The lunch you have, I guess.
Oh,
I will round some of these off a little bit. Here. You see, it cleans up numbers. So. That help any? Round it up on those numbers you had on.
Yeah, you said you should keep the number.
I didn't say keep 10 after the decimal.
I only have 5. You have a calculator.
It was the first thing we did after the test. Keep a calculator.
thank you.
I know. I don't want to tell you. See if you can remember it. It works like 5% males, 5% females, except you're doing it for the percent of the element in the compound. Yes. She's here. Yeah. It's the first thing we did after the test. It was in the videos.
How many numbers are definitely ways to keep 100%?
How many you want? There's significant difference in my question. Use whole numbers, 1, 2, doesn't matter. That's just planning to what y'all do. I suppose. How many more you got? Well, this will leave you with 1 left.
This would be hard. This number, CR, this number, C.
They look like that. Those are your done for your papers. Anybody else is finished for your quiz papers? You'll be in good company. A lot of people get number 5 wrong.
I just forgot.
You said you do it the same way you find your percent in a math one, right?
Correct.
You're 100%.
So I should.
Yeah, you're 100%.
Just making sure.
Anybody else got the quiz done? Right here. That's where you put the picture touches on this sucker. What, the answer? Yeah, Sam. 100% is fine. How many more people still have quiz paper? Allie, don't sit up there and check this thing for hours on end.
I'm not, I'm in hanging there with no concerns. As long as I'm not the only one. That's all, I added up my participating, like 100. Wait, what? The actual name?
Sure. It makes you happy to go for it.
Well, at least I know the answers, right?
Far be it from me to not let you do what you want.
I just don't want to get it wrong. But at least I just check it for you, so.
All right, was Xavier's the last paper I needed aside from Michaela's numbers that, go for miles across the paper? The only reason your other numbers didn't add up to 100 is they aren't multiplied by 100.
No, but okay, whenever I did, because I changed the decimal to a percent and I added them up to equal like 74, so I just kept the big number so easy.
So 28 plus 19 plus 52 isn't 100? You have, let's say, 28.2, 19.5, and 52.1.
Okay, well, I don't know what I did because when I first did it, they equal like 74.
Whatever, genius. Anybody else still have a quiz paper? So that was it?
Whose face are you making that at?
Yours.
Why?
Because you got something wrong.
Nuh-uh.
I was looking at it by yours. Number 5. Some of y'all did some weird stuff in number 5.
Was that
Was that
ours?
All right, fudge notes. We don't need calculators unless you truly cannot multiply 2 times 3, 4 times 5, 6 times 4. If you can't do those kinds of things and you have to have a calculator to multiply those numbers, then I guess keep a calculator. But if you can multiply 6 times 4, 4 times 5, 3 times 2, you do not need a calculator the rest of the day.
I want to be such a kind gentleman.
But if that is just beyond your scope, then you can put your calculators away. If you just need it, I don't want to be accused of having you not be able to balance because you can't multiply and keep a calculator.
Just for safety.
Then keep a calculator. I will let you have one on the quiz and the test because I do not want to be told that you couldn't pass because you cannot multiply. Yes, ma'am. Yes, we're going back to balancing. Okay? Second period got further than you guys did on Friday. We tend to work slower for some odd reason. All right, so we are balancing today. We did all the symbols. We talked about the rule. All right, so today we will be balancing reactions. I hope to be able to start word equations. They will get started on word equations because we talked about how to balance on Friday. Now, we did one example on Friday, but did we do one example or no? I don't even think we did one example. So if we have FE plus O2 goes to FE2O3, which is the example I had on the board Friday. Now, I don't even think we talked about what the number stood for in the equation, if I remember right. So when you look at the equation, there are 2 kinds of numbers that we're going to work with. First of all, these numbers right here, and I took all the symbols out to clean up the equation. These numbers right here are called subscripts. Subscripts tell the number of atoms. Okay? And they never change. No matter how badly you want to change them, you cannot change a subscript. Sometimes when you're trying to balance, it would be so easy to just erase one or change it because it would solve all of our problems. Subscripts never change. If there is no subscript on an atom, it is understood to be what? 1. Now, the other numbers that we will use And today I will draw lines in, but really beyond today, I won't draw lines. The other numbers go in front of the compounds, and these are called coefficients. Okay? And they tell the number of compounds or molecules. These we can change. Because who is putting in the coefficients? I heard somebody say it. Who's putting in the coefficients? Us, we are. So because we're putting in the coefficients, we can change those. Now, notice where I put the blue lines. The blue lines are in front of the compounds. So let's say that I want to put a number in front of this oxygen. I can't put it here where I'm pointing. The only place I can put a number is where? In front of the FE. So this works like math class. If you put a number in front of x plus 2 and you put a 4 here, what does the 4 do?
Distribute.
It multiplies and it distributes. So that 4 goes there, and that 4 goes there, and it makes it 4x plus 8. Everybody knows that. You learned that back in middle school, right?
Yeah.
Same concept in chemistry class. If we have something like, and I put a 4 in front of that Fe2O3, that means that we have how many Fe's? Now that we're done with this, we're going to move that down here. We have how many Fe's and how many oxygens? I have how many Fe's? I make how many Fe's? One person back there keeps saying it. 8 Fe's, and I have how many O's? I have 12 oxygens. Okay? Any issues with how that works? Now, if you can do that, you can balance anything. So, when we go to balance, it's trial and error. Some of you will choose the right element to start with pretty much every time. Some of you will unfortunately choose the wrong one almost every time. Some of you will be pretty split. So, pick either iron or oxygen. Don't try to do both at the same time. Just pick one, balance it, and then do the rest of the elements. So pick Fe or O to start with. Which one do you want to pick?
Fe.
Okay, so if we pick Fe, there's how many Fe's here?
1,
How many Fe's here?
2.
So if there's 2 on this side, according to the law of conservation, 2 on this side means I need how many on this side?
2.
So I have a subscript of 1. So if there's 1 here, I need 2. These numbers multiply. So if they multiply, what number times 1 will give me 2?
2.
So 2 times 1 is 2. That's why I put a 2 there. They don't add, they multiply. So I've balanced my Fe's. There's 2 here. There's 2 here. Now I need to balance what element? Oxygen. All right, so I have how many O's here?
2.
And how many O's here?
3.
Now, is there any number that will multiply by 2 to give me 3?
No.
So you multiply the number that will multiply by 3 to give me 2? No. So I don't have a number that I can multiply by to get 2 or 3. So what number do 2 and 3 have in common? 6. So how do I get 6 oxygens here? Okay. How do I get 6 oxygens here? Okay. So 2 times 3 made 6 oxygens. I have 6 oxygens here. But again, what happens when I put that 2 in front of that compound? They distribute. So as soon as I put that there, they distribute. So how many Fe's did I make?
4.
I made 4. So now I have to go back and check my irons. Did I disturb my irons?
Yes.
Yes, I made 4 Fe's. So who put this here? We did. I can take that off. I can't change the subscript, but I can change the coefficient. So I can fix that. So there are 4 Fe's here. So I need 4 Fe's here. So how do I put 4 Fe's there? 1 times what will give me 4? 4. Are you with me? Yeah? Okay. And again, I'm gonna draw lines today, just so we know where we can put coefficients. I will not do that. Now, by about Thursday, if you cannot balance, you need to get help, okay? This topic does not go away. We're gonna do it with math after we finish the test, probably middle of next week, okay? We're gonna use it to do math after this topic,
What in the world?
okay? Now, at the end of the semester, when we do review, and we get review questions on balancing, and people go, I didn't get that right. Please don't tell me. At the end of the semester, when we're reviewing for the final exam, if you don't have a balance, I don't know. This is a basic skill, okay? I would even be so bold to tell you that if you can't balance equations, you A, will not pass my class, and B, will not pass the final exam, okay? So after a few days of this, if you cannot do it, you need to have your butt parked in my classroom getting help. This is a basic skill. Okay? So, pick an element. There are 3 of them this time instead of 2. Which one would you like to balance first?
SB.
Okay? It's trial and error. Pick one. I heard SB from Allie. She gave me her choice last time. Pick somebody else. What did somebody over here say?
I said oxygen.
Oxygen. Now, I will tell you my secret. I pick the odd numbers and the biggest numbers to balance first. Okay? So I would have gone with O also. Because if I had gone with SB, odds are good, SB wouldn't work. All right? So we'll do SB first, and then I'll come back and do it with oxygen to show you the difference. Okay? So if we do SB first, there are how many SBs? Now, those of you who are writing, don't write this because I'm going to have to erase. How many SBs are there?
2.
How many SBs? So we're going to put a 2 here. So when I made 2 SBs, how many chlorines did I make? 2 times 5 is 10. How many chlorines are here?
2.
So I need to make 10. So how do I make 10? 5. Now, how many O's are here? Can I make 5? Okay, so my starting with SB didn't work. So I'm getting rid of that. All right, so starting with SB didn't work. Pick a different element. That's the way you fix it. Just pick something else. I'm going to pick oxygen. A, I like the odd numbers, and I like the bigger subscripts because it generally works out better. All right, so how many O's are here?
5.
How many are here?
2.
I can't get 2. I can't get 5. So what do 2 and 5 have in common?
10.
So how am I going to get 10?
2.
2 times 5 makes 10. How do I get 10 here? 5 times 2 is 10. Now, when I did that, I made 10. But how many SBs did I make? Made 4. Can I get 4 SBs here? What's the subscript?
4.
There's 1, right? So what times 1 will give me 4? Okay. How many antimonies do we make? Sorry, not antimonies, chlorines. Chlorines. We made 20, right? How did I get 20? That's why I like the odd numbers. It generally tends to work out. You with me?
Yes.
Got it. Let's try polyatomic ion. And this is an easy one because it only has 1 polyatomic ion, as opposed to 2. All right, so polyatomic ions. Balance them as whole units. Can we agree that what's in the parentheses is the same on both sides?
Yes.
We don't need to distribute, okay? This is a sulfate. This is a sulfate. SO4 is the same in both. We don't need to balance them separately. Not S, not O's. They're identical. So how many sulfates are on All right, fix this because Miss Wall lost her ever-loving mind. Put a 3 there. All right. Can we agree that they're the same inside? So there are 7 sulfates on this side. And there are how many sulfates on this side?
3.
Okay. So if there are 7 on this side and 3 on this side, how am I going to get them to balance?
What do they have in common?
What do they have in common? 21. So how am I going to get 21 on this side?
30.
How am I going to get 21 here? You just balanced what's inside. Okay? Without ever having to separate the S's and the O's. Now, if you counted them, 7 S's times 3 would be 21 S's. 3 S's times 7 would be 21 S's. You could do the same thing with the O's. 4 times 7 is 28. 28 times 3 is... Yes, I would need my calculator for that. It's 84. 12 times 7. What's 12 times 7? 84. Okay? So you could separate it if you wanted to. It's just a whole lot harder to do that. It's much easier to balance it as a whole unit. So, how many MNs do we make?
6.
How do I make 6?
6.
How many ALs?
14.
You got it? Let's see. Make sure I did my oxidation numbers right. Yep, I did. All right, this time I put 2 polyatomic ions in. And we're going to do one other different kind after this one, and then I'm going to let y'all try. Because I can balance these all day long. But y'all need to practice. Again, it's trial and error. So after you have it written, tell me what you think we ought to pick. All right, what we want to balance? The what? Sure. All right.
What if you said unsweet? I was like, what?
All right, so SB. How many SBs are here?
2.
How many are here? So how do I get the same on both sides?
6.
Okay, so how do I get 6 here?
3.
And how many are here?
2.
Okay, so if we do that, how many CR207s do we make? 15 CR207s. Can I get 15 CR207s here? Okay, so I'm not worried about what's inside, right? So what's on the outside of CR207?
Nothing.
Nothing. So that means there's 1. So how many of these CR207s do we make? There's a 5 there, right? You put a 3 right here, so how many did you make?
15.
Is everybody okay with how we got 15?
Yeah.
So how do we get 15 here? Is that doable?
Yes.
Yes, there's a 1 here, so how do I get 15? Put a 15 there, because 15 times 1 is 15. So how many NAs did we just make?
30.
Can I make 30 here?
Yes.
How do I make 30? Okay. Now, same thing. How many PO4s did we just make?
10.
Okay, because there's a 1 there, right? So 10 PO4s. How many PO4s do I have? Because there's already a coefficient there. So 2 times that 5 is how many? So it's balanced. So starting with SB would work. Okay, it's all trial and error. Now, did you have to start with SB? Not necessarily. You could have picked something else and it might have worked just as great. Yes, ma'am.
So how do you know which parentheses to
What parentheses to what?
to like scribble out what you need to not know which ones?
Whatever's inside the parentheses doesn't matter. You're only looking at the numbers on the outside. Okay? You can scribble out everything inside the parentheses. You can scribble out all of them.
So they just there.
Whatever's inside is what you're not using. You're only using the numbers on the outside. Okay? So we're only looking at the 1, the 5, the 1, and the 5. The numbers inside don't matter as long as they match something on the other side. Like this PO4 here has to match that PO4 there.
So if it didn't match.
Then you'd have to count it separately. For example, let's say that you have something like MgClO3 with a 2 goes to MgCl2 plus O2. All right, so you have something in parentheses. Does it match something on that side?
No.
You're going to have to count it separately. Same way you've balanced everything else. How many Mgs? How many Mgs? How many chlorines?
2. Oh, there are you.
Okay, 2. How many O's?
6.
How you get 6 O's? Okay, you just have to separate it. You would have to fall back on the way we were doing it to start with. All right, now the last one I want to do, let's do. This is called a combustion reaction. And we'll do it later this week when we do types. Now, the reason this one causes issues for people is it has oxygen in 3 of the 4 compounds. Which element do you think we should balance first?
Hydrogen.
We can.
No.
That's why we do hydrogen first. How many hydrogens are there?
8.
So how do we get 8 on the other side?
Yeah.
Okay. What should we do next?
Oh, put a 2 next to that oxygen.
Oh, don't do oxygen last. Do it last. So what should we do next?
Carbon.
Yep. How many carbons?
3.
So we're going to put what here?
3.
Yep, because that's got a 1 on it. So 3 times 1 is 3. All right, here's the hard part. There are oxygens in how many of these compounds?
2.
And there's a what between them? So you have to add the oxygens in both of these to get a total for the side.
Isn't there 2 C's too?
No.
That's out of the arrow.
It's on the other side of the arrow.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. So how many O's are here?
6.
Plus how many O's are here?
4.
So there's a total of how many oxygens on this side? There's 10 oxygen. Okay? That's the part that people struggle with in this equation. Is there's 10 total oxygens on the product side. So you want 10 oxygens on the right, which is not hard once people get the total. Okay? So we would put a 5 to get the total oxygens. But getting the total over here is where we struggle. Okay? People don't count right. Questions about how we did that? All right, let's see if we can practice a little bit. Now, we're only doing 1 through 9 on this because we've not learned how to do word equations.
Is that homework or is it?
No, it's homework. Not homework. This is practice. I got it for homework.
Oh.
It's 9:30. I assume it's safe to say 9:30. Roughly.
It
I don't have to give the digital number. 9:32.
9:32. Wait, did you
I can
look at the
read.
clock?
I can read that clock.
Oh, I thought you were like guessing.
No, I can read that clock. 1,
long ago, I learned to read an analog clock.
What's the,
Analog clock.
wait, how-
That's an
you
analog
said
clock as
1, 2,
opposed to
9?
digital. You only know how to read a digital clock.
I know how to read that.
What time is it?
It is 9:30 something.
Two, see,
I
that,
can't see the two, it's
Right.
a glare.
Oh, those are glad.
Yeah.
Aren't you the one that we had the conversation with quarter to 3 and you were like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Because that's ridiculous.
2:25?
Quarter
Quarter should be,
It's only 60 minutes in an hour. That is ridiculous. That
so a quarter means a fourth. So fourth would be 15.
she can still
I need to
read
go
the
up to
clock.
100. The hours.
It's not the way it works.
I know, but it needs to be like that because it's just confusing. How am I supposed to
Balance
know?
anyway.
It's not even, it's not even.
Balance the
about
equation,
what
not working on
you
that.
can just read the clock. Or you can do that, but you can get it in the like, that's just way too common. You gotta sit here and be like, I think that's.
Man,
something
I think it's
Right.
probably.
That's just
I'm
not
gonna get precious.
I think.
Who knows? Maybe they took it off the state test back in elementary school. I have no idea anymore. But once upon a time, it was part of like the first and second
Yes,
grade.
and I was there for that, and honestly, it was a waste of my time.
It probably was. Balance the equation. It's not a waste of your time now. Or at least not until December. Then I'll never have to do it again.
Okay, wait, so where do I put it?
I put in 2.
Draw lines if it makes you happy.
Wait, do I just put the number next to it?
Yes.
Well, get it
I don't need that.
You do not have to write the ones. You can write ones if it makes you happy. If it doesn't make you happy, leave them off. If it makes you happy, write the ones. If you want to write ones for coefficients to make yourself really happy, write ones for coefficients. Like for example, up here, I did not write ones. But if it makes you happy to write 1, 1, 1, go ahead. Go right ahead if that really makes you happy. Yes, my dear. So how many O's do you have? How do you get 2 O's? No, you cannot put it behind it. It has to go where? The only place you can put numbers are here, here, and here. So if you want 2 O's, where does the 2 have to go? All right, so how many MGs did you make? So where are you going to put the 2? Okay, so everything is balanced. So what are you going to put in front of number 2? If you want, you don't have to. You can either put 1 there, you can leave it blank. You want.
Wait, hold on.
What?
The same thing. But this one doesn't have
The same thing you have to do.
doesn't have to like.
Now, do not put those down there, or I will assume that you're balancing by putting subscripts in. So don't write that stuff down, okay? So when you put a 2 there, if you want to count, down below, write like 2 MGs or 2 O's down here like that. Okay, but don't put subscripts in your equation.
We wouldn't have two of them here.
Yes, you would, because you got 2 MGs. So you're going to have to put 2 there and make 2 MGs. 2 O's, 2 O's. So that would balance it for you. So you can either leave it like that, or write 1 there if that will push back. And you put a 1 there. Ira, you got a question? You're done?
Wait, so we never
Just
put
quit
it.
on me and pray for 9:55. Okay. It's coming, it's just not here yet. Keep going.
Okay. So with this, I mean, it's technically the same, but it's just considered to 1.
Now, if it were me, I'd draw in parentheses around the NO3 so I can balance this whole unit. Now, when you get down to one like number 6, like Franco's at, you can draw in the parentheses around the NO3 so that it's easier to balance. So I draw in the parentheses.
Oh,
You just kind of less.
did you just get some?
No.
You just finished on it?
Wait.
I don't know.
Just
You
keep
didn't
going.
even address me.
Who else has a question? Yeah. So, how many O's you got? How many O's you got? So instead of writing 6, can you get 6 O's? By what? You can write 3. You don't have to write 6. Okay? Uh-huh. So how do you get 6 on this side if you have 3? Write a 2. No, in front of the compound. Okay. Now how many FEs did you
just made. Right there, so you get 4, so you get 4 on the other side. Good. Okay? Yes.
Oh my God.
Okay. Several on it. Where are you confused at? Number 3 sometimes causes issues. You get stuck, go to another one. I will tell you, it's like the one we just did with the adding of the O's. How many O's you got right here? So that's 4. How many O's you got here? So the O's balance.
Oh, wait, I wanted to make sure I had it.
Okay.
Did you say something? Yep. Right. Okay. Alright, you're ready. Now, you cannot put anything out here. Because that's where we cannot. The only place you can put numbers are here, here, here. Okay, so erase that 2. Now, so if you want 2 O's, which is I'm assuming why you put a 2 there. The only place you can put a 2.
No, I didn't have to go back and read it.
Right there. So put that. Now, when you put that 2 there, that means you made 2 MGs, 2 O's. So your O's are good. Because 1 times 1 is what? 1 multiplies. So that's the number. You gotta put 2 there. Because 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, and then multiply. Because that's the number of pages. So 1 times 2 is 2. So that means there's 2 oxygens. There's 2 MGs. There's 2 MGs. There's 2 oxygens. So is everything balanced?
Yeah.
And it's done. Okay?
Yes, 3 plus
So on
3.
this one.
I'm gonna start with.
Alright? We're going to balance first. Okay? So there's how many O's?
3,
How
2,
many O's?
1.
Can't get 3. Okay, so how many?
Yes.
Right 6.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Okay, so 3 there. How do we get 6 here? Right. Okay, so now we've made 6 O's on both sides. And multiply.
Yeah.
3, 3, and then that adds up.
Because first of all, the POs are entrances. I have 2 POs on that side and then 1 on that side.
I don't have 2 kids on that.
It's like that. You gotta add.
Number 3.
You gotta go here, here on the
I don't
same
think I
side.
shoot to that.
Alright, so
That's the one thing.
How did it?
Oh, I get you. I get you.
I got 3
alright, H
on the
is
KOH and 3 on the H.
H is got 2 right there. Got it.
3 right here.
Here's the hard part. This is where we're gonna get lost. I mean, over here.
This one, that
Lost.
lost.
I checked them.
So there's
See,
4.
but these add up
Over
here.
here.
Yeah, it's.
Oh.
I don't know, I just forgot. I don't know how to explain it.
That's really
See, this already has 2. So that's balance. That's 2. So your ends are balanced. Good?
You.
Okay. How about you? Where you lost that? You don't say anything, I assume you're good.
Okay, wait, no, I'm good.
Alright, where?
But that don't make sense to me because
How many O's are here?
It's okay, Robin.
How many O's are here? So how are we gonna get the same number on both sides?
I don't think so. I can explain.
Okay, so what's your common number between 3 and 2? 6. How do I get 6 here? That's 3 there. It's a common number. You said 6. How do I get 6 here? What's 2? Take it. Right. You've got 6 O's, 6 O's. How many of these did you make? And multiply, right? So what number are you going to multiply there?
I don't like
Total
kids.
here, it's 2 there, make 2 N's. Right. 2 N's. You made 2 H's. Got me.
Right, I'm not.
Here's where everybody gets stuck in the other.
No, you do not want to be a lesbian right there.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, what did you get for that?
I got 2 HCL and 2
Okay, okay, so you go, okay, I got 2, 4, 4, yeah. It's like, you gotta add 3, I probably just go.
That's and then that's already we got to.
No, because like, but then you have to add 6, okay, so that total is 6.
I'm gonna try.
I put 2 in.
That's the one, okay, okay, so then that, okay, this is 6, so then 2 of that, okay, that's, 2, and then 4, that'd be equal 6, and then, so that's be 3 as well, that,
Yeah.
Good.
No, we have proposal.
oh, yeah,
I thought we had. We were about
Sorry about what's inside.
We were in line last Friday, so that means we're around Thursday.
2. There's 3.
You get those digital things, you have to add over real.
I'm glad we don't either. I don't know what's
Oh,
wrong
it can be
with my
reduced,
but
I think you.
Yes, and she always and she doesn't, like, I was the first to tell you, like, everybody's okay. Yes, yes, you did that, she likes that. Like, all of our, like, a lot of people's examples are making very good because of the way you do
No.
it. Like, I felt sick.
You got that. We go to parentheses.
And I agree with you.
3.
Like, she did nothing.
Oh my God, it's so cold.
I can't concentrate on her class because it's so personal. And she doesn't even really do it.
Because I had the yellow.
We had that colonial map there last
I mean, I get why you don't.
don't.
That's what we are. All right, tonight. Let's rock.
I didn't do that.
Oh, I finished, I just.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That one.
How many of these you got?
You got 2 HU and 2 HU. We took a test every night. I'm in 60. HU. I got 60. How many HU?
You know,
7, 8, 9.
This couple of our, she gave us all these online.
Let me just
things to do.
reading everything. Yeah.
I don't mean like just get frustrated.
Yeah, but she.
They're not that far off. All right, let's take a look at some of what you got.
No.
Yes, because we've got about 10 minutes, and we need to at least go over some of what you tried.
What?
See, you wonder why I won't come back there to where you're at. You almost fell. At least you're young. If I fell, I'd break something.
Do we have to be taken to the?
She said, what? She said, what?
Y'all are making me laugh.
I don't even think about telling me it's cold here.
This helps with that. It'd be freezing.
Do we have to, have it reduced?
Yes.
What?
I was on that.
All right.
You do have to reduce it? Yeah.
If it can be reduced, it has to be reduced. All right. And I'll address that in just a second. So, in the first one, there are 2 oxygens. So, you have to have a 2, 2, and a 1. Now, since we're talking about reducing, most of you are not going to need to reduce because you're not going to have something that's going to need it. But let's say you balance this and you had a 4, a 2, and a 4. Now, when you look at those coefficients, what can you tell me about a 4, a 2, and a 4?
They're all divisible by 2.
They're all divisible by 2. This is what I mean about reducing. If you balance the equation and they can all be reduced by the same number, they must be reduced, okay? So when you look at your coefficients and they're all divisible by the same number, it can be reduced to 2, 1, and 2. You have to reduce. That is the only time you will get partial credit in balancing, okay? Otherwise, it's entirely wrong and you lose the maximum points. Now, number 2, there's 3 and 2. So you're going to have a 3 and a 2, 4, 4. Number 3, I got to a lot of you. Most of you said 2 N's. You put a 2 here, 2 H's, 2 H's. This is where you had trouble. 1 plus 3 is 4, and you have 4 O's. So you only needed that 2 to balance number 3. For number 4, there's 3 FE's, so 3, 4 O's, so 4 O's, 8, so you put a 4 there. When you do the NO3s, doesn't matter what's inside, they match. So 3 and 2, we're going to 6, so 3 here, 2 there, 2 aluminums, 3 leads. Now, I think it was Jocelyn who asked me this. Does the 2 go to the parentheses and the lead or just the parentheses? It only goes to the parentheses. It does not go to the lead, okay? So keep that in mind. For number 6, draw your parentheses in. Makes it easier to balance. How do you know if the 3 goes inside or outside? Look at this one. Where's the 3 at? Is it inside or outside? It's inside, which means there's a 1 outside and the 3 is inside. So there's a 2 and there's a 1. So I have 2 of them here, make 2 of them there. And O3s are balanced. 2 silvers, 1 copper, 1 copper. All right, 7, 8, and 9 get a little harder. Not much. All right, so is OH on this side? So you're going to have to break it apart, okay? I would not do it first. I would take care of my CAs and CLs first. 1 CA, 1 CA, 2 CLs, so I need to put a 2 there to balance my CLs. Now, how many H's do I have on this side? 2, and then here? So what's 2? Remember, it distributes. So 2 plus 2 is how many? So how do I get 4? How many O's did I make? I made 2. How many are here? There's 2. 2 times 1 is 2. So that's what you have there. All right, number 8. There's 3 K's. There's 1 K, so I'm going to put a 3 there. The PO4s, they're the same. They're balanced already because they're both 1s. Now, how many H's do we have? I don't.
6.
When you look at them, I have 3 H's here, and I have 3 H's here, so that gives me 6, and I have how many here?
2.
So I'm going to put a what?
3.
Made 3 O's, and I have 3 O's, so we're good.
You doing something?
I've had a lot of practice.
That's crazy. I didn't take 45 minutes.
And the last one, how many NAs are here? 2, so I'm going to put a 2 there. CLs, I made 2 when I did that. So I'm going to put a 2. I made 2 H's. There's 2 H's. So now we're just down to S's and O's. 1 S, 1 S, 3 O's, 3 O's. So that's all I need there. Questions? Yes, no?
No.
Now, do not lose that paper because we're going to do the 4 that are on the bottom of that tomorrow. For homework tonight, we're going to balance. Okay? Now, which side has the equations? The front or the back? The back is a bunch of words. Do you know what to do with the words?
No, we don't.
Then don't do the back. You're doing 1 through 13 on the front. You're balancing. Odds are very good that you will have a balancing quiz tomorrow. At some point. Don't know when. Last I knew Ms. Harvey was coming to the third tomorrow. We have yet to have our pre-conference because she keeps standing me up. So I don't know if she's still coming or not. If she comes, we will not do the quiz at the front end of class because that's what she's supposed to observe. And I will not have her observe during a quiz. So if that's the case, we'll do the quiz at the end of class.
So if you still have a calculator, be ever so kind and put it away. And you are balancing 1 through 13 for homework. If you need to do makeup work, you need help this week, I will only be here Wednesday and Thursday